Be the change you wanna see.
Seaside is a caring, connected, and expanding spiritual community, sharing practical tools for richer living.
Just your heart to show you how you can be the change if you wanna.
We join in partnership with God to influence our lives for good, whether for improved health, finances, relationships, or simple happiness and joy.
Plant a flower, watch it grow. You will reap what you sow. You gotta be the.
And that is your Seaside Band. Good morning, everybody. It's such a pleasure to be here with you all. Happy Thanksgiving. To some of you, I guess. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know that we just came from a wonderful holiday. I am knowing that you enjoyed that time with your family, your friends, your cats, your dogs, whatever that Thanksgiving looked like for you. As we're giving thanks, I would like to give a thanks to Susan Sullivan and Carolyn Holder for the luau last week. Give them a round of applause, because that was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We have been working on that luau for a while, so to see what it looked like at the end, Susan did such a wonderful job. And then Carolyn, seeing you dance up there, that was beautiful, just seeing you radiate your happiness and your love. What a wonderful time. So I would like to introduce our light holder for this morning. It is Denise Harman, and Denise is holding the light, holding the consciousness, doing a turn. Beautiful. She is wearing beautiful wedges and black pants. So Denise is walking over to the Dolphin Legacy, and if you notice, there is a table there, and there is a box on top of that table, and that's where we put all our prayer requests. There is a prayer request box here, and one in the hallway, and you can also submit them online. So if you're watching online, go ahead onto our website. It's seasidecenter.org, and you can also place your prayer request in there. I know that I myself have placed at least 3 at one time, and it feels so good and so loving and so inspirational to know that I am being held in the highest light in the love of who I truly am. And just so you know, all those things that I did pray for have already come to fruition in less than a week, and that's just the power of knowing who I am and having all the practitioners here at Seaside knowing that too. Today is Wall of Prayer, so at the end we will have a wall, and Reverend Lori will set that up. And with all that being said, we may now stand and greet our neighbors. Stay standing for the congregational song.
Good morning, Seaside. Please remain standing for our congregational song. We're going to do a song that it's really new. It actually was written by our very dear friend Gary Lynn Floyd. And Cahill and Deline brought it here one day, and we enjoyed it so much. And we're going to keep it in our schedule with some congregational songs. So you'll pick it up. You probably don't know it quite yet, but you'll get it real quick. Here we go. You ready? First part goes 1, 2, 3. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Repeat that. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll repeat that whole thing. Come on. Say everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Again, everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Very nice. This is the next part. You ready? Oh, let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Again, let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. That's right. See the light in everybody you meet. Again, everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Bob, come on, play that sax. Give it up for Bob and our Seaside Band. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Say hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Very nice, Seaside.
And that is Rebecca Jade. She's so amazing. My goodness. It is my honor to introduce this morning our practitioner who will be leading us in our invocation. And she basically helps put together all the big events that we've ever had here at Seaside. It is done through her. So Kay Samuels, not only has she set up for the volunteers and delegated all the tasks, made sure that we had food for VIP, made sure that we had seats and that you can actually sit on them. She has done everything from A to Z, from the details to the very, very small details that we wouldn't notice today, and it's all possible because of her delegation and all the work she's done here at Seaside. So give a round of applause to Kay Samuels.
And with that, let us go into the stillness for a few moments. In the stillness, we become a conduit for peace. When the mind is peaceful and still, Spirit will guide you into the truth of who you truly are. For the beloved Spirit is the giver of all life. It is the harmony within your soul. And it is the unity of all beings. Spirit permeates all of existence with its love. For love is all inclusive, and it is kind and true. The miracles of love support you, maintain you, and sustain you. For it is always in your heart and soul available. So I give thanks for the blessings of this day and for Reverend Lori as she offers her message of peace, poise, and power. So enjoy.
God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. God is good in me. God is so good.
Thank you, Rebecca. And thank you, Kay, for setting the tone, for setting the intention for this message this morning. I want to welcome all of those who are new this morning. If this is your first time, welcome. We loved you even before you walked in through those doors. And we loved you so much that we created these little envelopes for you. And inside, you'll find a DVD. It's not a DVD. It's a CD. It's a CD in here with the Back to the Basics from Reverend Christian, and there's also a Science of Mind magazine in here, and there is a coupon for the bookstore, which is right on to the right when you walk out of here, and you get like free cookies and muffins because it's in here. So pick it up. It's outside the door, outside of the family room. This is just for you. And this morning I have a reading for you that is from my favorite author, Paulo Coelho, his book, The Alchemist. And just to give you a setup of this, it's a young boy and his heart, so his heart is talking to him. And it starts off with, tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than the suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dreams, because every second of the search is an encounter with God. When I have been truly searching for my treasure, every hour has been luminous, because every hour has been a part of the dream. When I have been truly searching for my treasure, I discovered things along the way that I never would have seen had I not had the courage to try things that seemed impossible to achieve. Everyone on earth has a treasure that awaits them. Unfortunately, very few follow the path laid out for them. They just go along and see the world as a threatening place, and because they do, the world does indeed turn out to be a threatening place. We, their hearts, speak more and more softly, so we don't want people to suffer because they don't follow their hearts. And I'll leave you with this quote. Each one of us knows the answer even before someone tells us what they are.
That's a good word. Good morning, Seaside. Well, it is my honor to introduce our guest artist, and today we have just a wonderful, wonderful person. She's an amazing singer-songwriter. She's back in the studio working on new material, beautiful songs, and we're so grateful to have her because she goes out on tours and shares her music with other people all around the country, and she's here with us right here in our beautiful center, and so please help me give a warm welcome to Kenny Dye.
Thank you.
Sitting on an old trail, no one passing by, no one's there to hear me as I cry. And all the birds are singing, taunting me with songs as I'm lying hopeless, dead and gone. And you're nowhere, you're not here, and I know where, filled with fear. Lying all around me are pieces of the earth, life that's fallen down to find rebirth. Reaching towards the sunlight, trying to escape, to live beyond the rubble and the shade. And new life, it finds a way to keep growing and always change. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn, yeah, I'm moving on. I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. We were never promised a life without some pain. Well, even sunny skies send us rain. All that we've been given and what we've got to do. And I'm nowhere I'm not meant to be. And I see it, I see my relief, and I'm running free. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn, yeah, I'm moving on. And I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn, yeah, I'm moving on. I will not pretend to play the game. It's time to change. And we're nowhere we're not meant to be. Oh, so run, 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 run. Just run free. And we're nowhere we're not meant to be. Oh, so run, 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 set free. I'm not going back to what I've known. The line's been drawn, yeah, I'm moving on.
Yeah. Woo! Kenny Dye. Wow. Beautiful. That was Kenny Dye. How beautiful. Thank you, Kenny. All I have to say is I love my seaside. Good morning, seaside. Well, my name is Reverend Lori McMacken. If you haven't been here in the past year, or if you are new here the past year, you're thinking, who is she? I was actually the Wednesday night minister for 2.5 years here. And now that our beloved Christian Sorensen and his family is on a well-deserved vacation, I have been humbly asked to be here and to hold this consciousness and to continue the growth and the awareness of the divine in your life. So today I'll be talking about walking with the divine. And when I was at my Wednesday night service, I had a calling of the soul, and this is why I had left. Something had asked me to go walk the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. I'm not sure if you ever heard of that, but this is a pilgrimage in northwest Spain. And matter of fact, 10 years ago, I had a minister in North Hollywood that walked the Camino. And I thought to myself, I would never in my life do something like that. Have you ever done that? Never. Not me. No way. And so my girlfriend, Ellen, raise your hand. She's over here. She had walked the Camino, and she came home, and I wanted to know a little bit about it. So I went over to her house, and she told me a little bit about it, and something said, "You're going." I was like, "What?" Said, "You're going." I go, "What do you mean I'm going? I told you I wasn't doing this." So this is really a calling from the soul that I was asked to open that door and to walk the Camino de Santiago de Compostela and to become a pilgrim. And so what I have learned on my pilgrimage, I'm here to share a couple of my life lessons, because it doesn't matter if you're walking halfway around the world or if you're just walking around the block or in your own backyard. If you are a spiritual seeker, if you are in the awareness of your oneness with the divine, if you are here to authentically, physically and mentally and spiritually embrace this essence of who you are and to awaken to the awareness of your soul's calling, then you are considered a pilgrim. Yes. How beautiful it is. I can say that right now. You know, the pilgrimage is a walk, a journey to the Cathedral de Santiago de Compostela, which is called the Cathedral of St. James. Cathedral of St. James the Apostle, St. James the Great, St. James the brother of John the Apostle, St. James my beloved, and St. James the first to be beheaded and martyred by King Herod according to the Bible. And when you are on this journey, you really embrace the energy of St. James the Apostle. And they also say that the Camino always provides. And this is the energy of St. James, knowing no matter what happens on the Camino, all crooked paths will be made straight. Almost like whatever happens in your life, that God is your source and supply, and all crooked paths will be made straight. And there's so many lessons and blessings and golden nuggets along the way. Matter of fact, the past year, I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways, that I walked 840 miles. Yeah, I am not kidding you. Like, my soul kept on being called back. I went there with Ellen, and then she left, and I changed my ticket twice, and I had to walk that 500-mile journey the next year, and then I went back to walk with a group of Parkinsons to hold that light for them. So it's really been an amazing spiritual expansion and experience, and so you learn many lessons and blessings, and golden nuggets are given to you along the way. And one of my first gifts was from a pilgrim. And it was my first experience there. And he gave me this paper, and it was the Beatitudes of a Pilgrim. It was the blessings of a pilgrim. And a nun who worked in an albergue in the Française gave it to him. And when I got home, I looked at it, I go, wow, this is like a golden nugget for me. So and this is a picture that I took with my iPhone, the Beatitude of a Pilgrim. Blessed are you when you don't have words to give thanks to what surprises you at every twist and turn of the way. Because not only is this an inner journey, but it is an outer journey. You're in a heightened state of awareness because you're out of your habitual lifestyle. And can you imagine walking from medieval village to medieval village? All these beautiful cobblestone homes and Roman bridges and Roman streets. And every little village has a cathedral or a church or a chapel. And the taller the village, the closer to the divine, they say it is. And it's just beautiful going from church to church and getting on your knees and just praying and having this true embodiment of the divine as you pray without ceasing. Now, as they say, the Camino provides. I mean, life is life in action, even on the Camino. There's many times where life was not going right. Like when I went to my hotel, and it was on a Sunday, and I had booked my hotel there, and my luggage was being sent there, and the hotel was closed. I'm exhausted. I walked all day long. I have nowhere to stay. And so when I called this little phone number, thank God the guy spoke English, the man who owned it. And he came and he opened up his hotel. He went and picked up my luggage, and he took care of me. And this is what they do there. I was worried, will I be safe in Spain? That was one of my biggest worries. And I couldn't believe when I went there, I was 100% safe and totally embodied. And plus, when you are praying without ceasing, you recognize your oneness with God. No matter what's going on in the world, all crooked paths will be made straight. There was even another time I went to my hotel and my luggage was there, and I went to go check in. They're like, well, you don't have a reservation here. I said, I do, and I already paid for it. And then when I did my homework, I realized I was 2 miles down the street. And the lady, literally, the owner, put me in her car with my luggage and drove me to my hotel. And this is what they do there for you. They shepherd you along the way. This is the consciousness of the Camino. So the next beatitude, so not only is that the outer journey, but it's also the inner journey. And what I have learned that when I was walking the Camino started actually when I started my practice, because now I had to learn how to walk 12 miles a day, at least 3 days in a row. That's what I think is the formula to graciously work through the Camino. And I started 6 months before the journey. But what I didn't realize that I was going to learn how to listen to my body. You see, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make the Camino because I had neuropathy in my feet. My toes were numb, my feet hurt on the bottom, and I had pain up and down my legs from a very traumatic real estate transaction that I had that lasts like 3 years. And so every day I was forced to listen to the needs of my body. I taped my toes, and I wore toe socks. It took me 3 pairs of shoes to find the shoe that actually fit me. And as I continued to walk, I continued to listen to the needs of my body. Oh, I need water. Oh, I need sunscreen. Oh, I'm too hot or I'm too cold. I was kind of a pain, but it is really the basic that we don't listen to our bodies. You know, you get a little, when you're young, you can abuse your body. all you want, it will bounce back. But when you get older, you get the little tap, you get the little knock, you get the universal smackdown, right? So it is like going back to basics, listening to the sounds of the physical body. Blessed are you if on the way you meet yourself and you gift yourself time without rushing, as not to disregard the image of the heart. And how important this was to walk in your own cadence, not to rush. Because when you rush, you learn that you're going to get to know God through pain and suffering. Your feet are going to be filled with blisters. And thank God, my friend Alan and I, when we started walking together, we were in the same cadence. I walked with other people, we weren't. So we had a comfortable cadence as we walked. We listened to the divine body, and listening to them, if you just live in the body, you're living in the material world, and you're definitely you're gonna experience pain and suffering. But if you just live in the spirit and you don't listen to your body, there's a law within the physical body too. You'll be spiritually, in touch with God, but your physical body will be in a lot of pain. So this pilgrimage was about listening to the whole of who you are, the physical body, the mind, and then the soul. Oh my God, listening to the heart opening of the soul, just like Kat was talking about. Now, this is another sign, and you could, at certain points, you can either go straight or turn left. You can go the long way or you can go the short way, okay? And so this is directing my mind in an affirmative way. When you're walking, you know how you take long walks, and all of a sudden issues come up in your life that haven't been healed, So I have a choice. I can take the long way and continue to blame everyone for what happened, right? And regret what happened. Or I can take the short way and actually decide right there and then, I'm walking to heal this. Okay, so what happened? Okay, how can I give gratitude for it? What did I learn from it? And as I walk forward, it walks behind me, right? I just leave it behind me. And as you allow that to walk behind you, your body begins to heal in miraculous ways. Or an image of the heart would be, once you clean out your body, you start cleaning out your mind, new images come up, new ideas, new inspirations come in, because it's like cleaning out your closet, right? And all of a sudden you can bring in the new when you do that, or cleaning out your home. So all of a sudden you get that divine hit. That song comes in, that poetry comes in, the $1 million idea comes in. You got to grab it right there, otherwise it'll go away. So I just stop and hit my voice recorder and start talking. So it is really a process of cleaning out the mind and bringing in new, authentic ways of being in the world. And this is when you listen to that soul that is calling you. This is a picture of the Meseta, which is in the 500-mile journey. There's areas where for like a week, there's very few stops along the way. So you really have to direct your mind in an affirmative way. Blessed are you, pilgrim, if you discover that the Camino holds a lot of silence, and the silence of prayer, and the prayer of meeting with the Father who is waiting for you. And when I'm talking about the Father, I'm talking about the eternal Father, not the physical Father. So when I was walking, I'm like, okay, I got to come up with some way to direct my mind and to pray without ceasing, but just to recognize and to be aware that I am one with God. What would be a really, really good affirmation? And so I thought about it for a while, and there's a practitioner in North Hollywood. When I was in my Prac 1 training, his name is Ed Rubin, and one of my practitioners here, Margaret's here today. She was a teacher also. But Ed Rubin said to me, Lori, don't forget this. I said, okay. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. Really? He goes, yeah. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. You got that? I said, okay. So it came back into my consciousness when I was on the Camino. And of course, that is an affirmative prayer that perfect God, God is all there is. Perfect man, I am one with God. Perfect being, we are all one with the power and the presence of God. So this became my cadence as I was walking. I was praying without ceasing. And what I know is that when you recognize and you are awakened to your presence of God, anything else that is not like the presence of God just falls away to the side. And this is a picture of the Pyrenees where they had a cadence of mountains. And so you want to have a mental focus because it wasn't easy to get through that. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. There can be a snowstorm, and when you are awakened to your oneness with God, you will be protected. There can be a tornado or a fire or an accident that happens, and no matter what, when you are in this divine awakening, you will be untouched. And not that because you are a special one, it's because you are awakened to that. Because we all can get to know God through love and pain or through joy and happiness. When you're drowning, you're going to go, oh my God, help me. I'll do anything. I'll give all my money to charity, but just help me now. God will be there for you. But it's so much easier to know that you're one with God before the tragic situation happens. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. Will you please repeat that with me? Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. One more time. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. And there's so many times in your life when I came home, I realized there's so much open space that I can direct my mind, because we have to train our mind. I can direct my mind in a affirmative way, like when I'm driving, when I'm waiting in line, when I'm going for a morning stroll, that I can just know my wholeness and my oneness with God. For I and the Father are one. I am that I am, the kingdom of God. I inherit the kingdom of God when I am awakened to this wholeness with God. And so one of my favorite, I would say, sheroes of today would be the Peace Pilgrim. And she started walking in the 1950s. Her life was giving, and she realized that she had to receive. And she knew inherently within each and every person was a goodness. So she decided to take the road, and she changed her name to the Peace Pilgrim. She didn't eat unless someone gave her food, and she didn't sleep unless someone gave her a place to sleep. I mean, this is really having faith in faith, right? And as she walked, she practiced her oneness with God. She was a spiritual teacher. She taught the golden rule in churches and universities and school. She practiced knowing that I am that I am, that I and the Father are one. And this was her prayer without ceasing. And eventually, when she stopped walking, she was able to realize that, you know what, it's so innate in me, because I do it all the time, that I don't have to walk and pray without ceasing. I can just live and pray without ceasing. So she's definitely one of my heroes. One of the last time, which was like a month ago that I was on the Camino, I got called back to walk with a group of Parkinson's patients. And they had their nurse practitioner is such an affirmative woman, and she knows that these people need to be in their body to be healthy, so she had them walk the Camino. And it was just the love of the group that supported the people who had Parkinson's, I believe, actually healed them along this journey. And after we arrived in Santiago, I thought, well, I'm there. I might as well just go walk a little bit longer. That's kind of my attitude every time I go. And I decided to walk to Finisterre, Muxia, which is in the Roman time. The Romans used to think that was the end of the world. So it was beautiful. You had the medieval villages, you had the farmlands, and then you had the ocean. There wasn't really a whole lot of people on the road, and people were crossing each other. It was just a different experience for me. And by the time I was done after that week, I was like, oh my God, I just want to talk to somebody. So when I was at the airport, I heard a pilgrim speak English, and I'm an introvert. I mean, I look like I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually an introvert. And I ran over to him, and I was like, blah, I just wanted to talk, And I came off the 500-mile journey like a month ago, and we started talking. Oh, what a golden nugget. He had the greatest story. The story in the Camino is not who are you and what do you do for a living. The Camino story is, where are you from and why are you walking? So he told me that he was going to go to the Philippines and he was going to lay on the beach and get massages for a month. But his friend said, no, you don't want to do that. You want to go on the Camino. Matter of fact, you should go on YouTube and watch stories about the Camino. So he thought, yeah, I'll go on the Camino. He had 30 days to walk 500 miles because he had to be in Boston to see his girls in a competition, his daughters. He didn't practice and he didn't prepare. It's okay. You want to get to know God through pain and suffering. It's okay. So he's doing 18 miles a day, 30 kilometers a day, okay? He is flat out staying in albergue with 100 people in one room, and he said, I had ice packs all over my body. I was so sore. And he said, Lori, I'm going to tell you something. I would never tell this to my family, and I would never tell this to my friends, but I'm going to tell this to you because I know you're a minister. I go, yeah, really, what? He said, well, the next day, I had 15 kilometers to walk. And I walked the 15 kilometers. I'm climbing up this hill. At the top of the hill is a church. And I walked in that church and I got on my knees and I prayed with every heart and soul of my body. He said, I couldn't believe it because when I stood up, I had no pain. I was like, oh my God, this is a great story. He said after that, he went from church to church to church and he got on his knees and he prayed every single time. So he went from tourist to a spiritual pilgrim. It was just a beautiful story. And you know, the secret of prayer, the secret of healing, the secret of knowing your oneness with God is really in the Word. It's in the Word of the soul. You know, when you've ever prayed before, think of the time that you've prayed before and you gave it all your heart and your mind and your spirit and everything that you had within you, how fast the universe answered that prayer. Because remember, the universe doesn't respond to your prayers, right? It corresponds to your prayers. That's why when you're drowning, help, you know, you're really coming from the soul, you know? So, and it's just recognizing just this oneness and awakening to this oneness at God at all times, that you don't have to do that when you're in the middle of turmoil. Oh boy, do I have another story. Oh, so there's a church, he got on his knees. There's churches everywhere you go. That's kind of the fun part about it. Even if you're not Catholic, whatever, you just get on your knees and pray because it is the embodiment of surrender. That's the fun. It's like you get to surrender the presence of God all the time, all day long. Oh God, I'm a freak, huh? So, there's another person I met on the Camino that really took my heart away. You know, you never know why your soul is called to the Camino, almost like the pilgrim or the Canadian who became a pilgrim, who had a healing, but everyone's soul was called there. And I think my soul was called there just to be really more authentic in the body, mind, and spirit, and to be courageous too. I think I was called to be courageous. So you never know what God is calling you forward, but when you answer your heart and you move into it, it's just a beautiful experience. Well, this man, Ellen and I were in Finisterre, and we were having breakfast, and I saw this guy, and I thought, oh my God, I've got to go talk to this character. So I went up to him, and he spoke Italian and Spanish, and I spoke English, and I have no idea what happened, but we understood each other completely. He was the pilgrim who didn't want to become a millionaire. He was the husband of the daughter the family owned Volvo in Italy, okay? And he was a lorry driver, you know, they just gave him a job. And he loved his wife dearly. But what happened is his wife passed away and he inherited $5 million. And everyone kept on saying, oh, you just married her for her money, that's all you did. And he loved her dearly. And he didn't really know how to handle that. He grew up in an orphanage, in a Catholic orphanage, so he gave all the money, the whole $5 million, to the Catholic orphanage, and he walked the Camino 31 times. And there's books written about him in Spanish and in Italian, and I think that he really had faith in faith. You have to have faith in faith, right? To know that all your food will be taken care of, that your places to sleep, that you will be taken care of. He recognized his oneness with God. So he's truly an amazing a story. I love that story. It's one of my favorite stories. But I think that your soul points you to the right way when you're on the Camino, no matter what. Everyone is there for a certain reason. My favorite was walking with the mothers and the daughters. I would get these mother-daughter teams. I loved walking with them. The daughter's just out of college, and they're projecting their future, and the mother is reflecting on their lives. High-powered people would come there and just quit their job in the middle of the Camino. Just call up, I'm done, boom. You know, really authentically listening to their soul, you know. And new doors open when you listen to your soul. Doors that were not there, new ones completely open. People bring with them ashes of their loved ones and sprinkle them along the way. There's healings. I know I read on the Camino Ways that a woman was healed of breast cancer, because you're walking away from your illness while you're there. I met a man from Glendale, California. His back was just ripped up, and his shoulder and his wrist. He was in a terrible marriage. He said when he first walked through the Pyrenees, he was so much pain, he could hardly carry his backpack. By the time he got to Santiago, he said he was healed and he was happy. He went home and divorced his wife, went back to the Camino, and walked for 6 months straight. You know? no matter what, it calls you there and it heals you because you have to listen to what your soul is calling you. There's something bigger and better, and it's a new awareness, a new experience that you have to move into. And, this is a picture at the Pilgrim Museum in Santiago. And I thought it really kind of depicts what happens when you get to Santiago. It's a very magical moment when you walk into Santiago. And the pilgrims just kind of sit there and they gaze at the cathedral and they sit and talk. And then all your friends that you walked with, if you walked by yourself, you kind of gain a family along the way. So there was one time that I was walking and it was raining. I was wet from head to toe and I was walking in the muddy gush and my hands had hypothermia and my toes. I just really needed somebody to walk with. And all of a sudden this girl appeared and she started telling me about all of her courageous journeys going to India by herself and everyone else in the world. I'm getting all excited, thinking, oh, can I do that too? And anyways, as we talked, we realized we had a lot in common, and then we ended up having the same birthday. So she's called like my Camino twin, and we walked in Santiago together, and as we were sitting there gazing at the cathedral, all of a sudden, Anna, my Camino angel, shows up. Anna picked me up from the muddy gush when I was walking down the Pyrenees. So she was there, and then Geraldine showed up. She was my Camino angel, and she told me how she walked the Camino 500 miles, and it made her so courageous that she did something she always wanted to do. She always wanted to work in a refugee camp. I was like, wow. And then she was walking it a second time because there was something very courageous that she had to do in her life. And so as we sat there, just like this picture, and we just gazed at the cathedral, and we all started giving gratitude, for our experiences. And I was telling them about my first experience there when I went with Ellen and how I began praying without ceasing, perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. And when I went home, I realized I had no more pain in my toes, and my feet didn't hurt, and I didn't have the pain up and down my legs. That I was actually healed. It was just an amazing experience. And Anna was telling us that when she was a little girl, her feet, and this is weird, her feet were on backwards, like the heel was in the front and the toe was in the back. And she had a doctor that told the family, I really can do this operation and I can heal her. And by the time she was 6 or 7, she was walking like a normal child. And I noticed that she always appeared on my life when I needed somebody on that Camino going up a hill or down a hill. And I can tell she was having a little bit of struggle, but she said, if only he was here to see me today. He has passed away. And just her heart was just ripped open with gratitude. And so this is what happens on the Camino. Your heart just breaks open with gratitude. Blessed are you. If your knapsack is empty of things of your heart, does not know how to hang up so many feelings and emotions. And I don't know how to explain this, but for about 3 days, after every single time I come back from the Camino, I am crying, just pouring with tears. And it's not because I'm upset or I'm mad. It's just, I think I just have touched the hem of the garment, and my soul is just full of gratitude for life. And so this last time I met another angel on my way home that I really didn't plan on meeting. And I was up for 48 hours traveling, and I was watching movie after movie, and I couldn't sleep, and my legs started to get Restless Leg Syndrome. You ever get that when you're on the plane? You're like in this confined situation. And so I got in the car. I'm in LAX driving home late at night, and I started to become really tired. So I got off the freeway, fell asleep. I couldn't fall asleep for long. Got back on the freeway, and I started to feel really tired. Okay, I'm getting off at Camp Pendleton. I got off at Camp Pendleton. I didn't get off at Camp Pendleton. All of a sudden, my head got hit, and I woke up, and I realized I was in a car accident. I know. So the storm came, and I moved to the side of the road, and I got out, and there was a car in front of me, and a guy came to me. And I said, "Are you okay?" I go, "I'm sorry, I fell asleep. I've been up for 48 hours. He goes, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I looked at my car. My car is totally totaled. He was okay. His car was okay. And I'm fine. I got a little hit on my head that woke me up. So we got me off the freeway, and I said, "You're really being nice to me." He said, "I fell asleep before at the wheel, and besides, there are good people in the world." Oh my God, and all of a sudden I didn't see him again. He was like my road angel. And so eventually I got home, and I was on my knees the next day praying. I'm just thanking God that I didn't kill anyone, that I was whole and I was free, and I would continue to pray without ceasing. Wow. So I know today never to drive after I go on a flight in the physical world, and in the metaphysical world continue to pray without ceasing, knowing my oneness with God. So as a pilgrim, I encourage you to embody the presence of God in your life, to listen to your body temple when your body's temple is telling you that it needs to see the dentist or the doctor, or slow down or speed up, and to direct your mind in an affirmative way at all times. Always think uplifting thoughts to try to heal anything you can in your life, and to listen to the soul and allow that soul to direct you in beautiful ways so you raise up to new heightened awarenesses. Thank you for allowing me to share my Camino with you. I say buen camino, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Can you die? Thank you.
Where do you go when you're feeling low? And what do you do when you can't even reach the straps to pull up your boots? And how do you find peace of mind in a world that's gone insane with so much pain? Home, it's where you lay your head to rest. Home is where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. The sigh of relief pulling up the drive, the pep in your step that appears when you're looking at the peak of your climb, and it's everything that makes you smile and fills you up with joy. It can't be destroyed. Home, it's where you lay your head to rest. Home is where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. It's the love and laughter, oh, the happy ever after that you see. And it's those friendly faces and those cozy places, the space within your heart where you find peace. Home, it's where you lay your head to rest. Home is where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. Home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. No, home
beautiful. Thank you. Home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. And here at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, we move into that feeling of being home right here with each other as we expand and grow in that love. So this is the time where we practice the spiritual practice of giving and receiving, where you have received love and you receive messages, and now you give back to your spiritual community as it expands and it grows and it moves into the love of the presence of God. So I invite our ushers to come forward. And I want to give thanks for our ushers for just giving their time and their gifts and their talent to Seaside Center for Spiritual Living and just being a beautiful example for all those around you. And I invite you to take your gift in hand, and if you auto-tithe, we thank you here at Seaside for doing that, knowing that as Christian is a way that this community can continue to flourish and flow. So I invite you to close your eyes as you take your gift and place it over your heart and just recognize that there's power in this presence of God. There's an infinite amount of opulence and a sea of abundance that's always expressing itself in each and every person's life. I know as you give, you do receive, and the blessings are bountiful in your life. And I'm grateful for this generous spiritual community as it expands and grows in the loveliness of the presence of God. And so it is. And together we say, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of the greater good as my life now. All right. I invite everyone to put their hands up and let's bless his beautiful gifts, knowing that it is bountiful, that our generous community has given their love and their joy and their abundance to Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that Seaside takes this money and ties it out to the world and does great work. I am grateful for all the love and the joy and the beauty that surrounds this wonderful place, and so it is. This is Nikki, our board member and Seaside sister.
Woo! What a service. Thank you so much for being here and bringing your beautiful light in your faces and your radiance. I want to thank you if you are watching online. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for tuning in wherever you're watching. We feel your love. We feel your energy. And thank you, Dana, for multitasking this morning. And she is our practitioner online. So give her a round of applause. Thank you so much, Dana. We also have new interns and everybody behind the cameras. This couldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you, everybody who is behind the cameras, all of our new interns. You can talk to them after service. They are going to be around. And thank you so much, Ed and Marv, for being here this morning. They're doing the sound and also the audio. We also have Denise, who has been holding the light, who has been holding in and anchoring that consciousness of light, of love this whole time for this entire message. Thank you so much, Denise. Thank you so much, Kay, for your prayer this morning. Thank you for your invocation and for the beautiful human being that you are. Thank you, Kay. And we also have the Seaside Band. Give them a round of applause because they're just absolutely amazing every week. And of course, this morning we had the powerful voice of Miss Kinney Dye. Give her a round of applause. My goodness. Every time she rocks my socks. And of course, the beautiful, the wonderful, our music director, Miss Rebecca Jade. Give her a round of applause. And of course, we have, this couldn't have happened today. We wouldn't have been here. The consciousness was delivered in such a beautiful, powerful way this morning because of Reverend Lori Mack. Thank you so much. I have definitely been inspired to walk around the block. And last, but certainly not least, I want to thank every single one of you for being here. We are the community that we are. We are standing here, sitting here, being here because of your presence, because of your radiance, because of your light. So give yourself a round of applause. And I guess we have no kiddies here today? No kids? Nope. Okay, Thanksgiving? Okay. So, just so you guys already realized that we have no announcements this morning, but everything that you need to know is always in your Inside Seaside. Check out your Inside Seaside. We also have a website. Go ahead to www.seasidecenter.org, and you can find the Inside Seaside there. It is digital, and I think that's all that I had to remind you about. I'm going to invite Reverend Lori Mack back on stage so that she can do our closing treatment.
Give Kat a big hand for her radiant light. Woo! She's such a beautiful energy. So if you want to walk around the block, or if you want to go to, you have to practice walking around before you get to Santiago. If you would like to take a pilgrimage, next year I am being called to take a group to Santiago. And this is Walking with the Divine, a guided pilgrimage with Reverend Lori Mack. It's going to be in October. We are going from the Knights Templars Castle to the Cathedral de Santiago de Compostela. Both were built in the 11th century, and I will be guiding you 6 months prior to that. You need to walk 12 miles, 3 days in a row, okay? And it's really easy, one step at a time. Just start small, right? Don't let me scare you. And also, my friend Marcia Jens here. Marcia, where are you? She's right there, right back there. She's an evolutionary astrologist. Her and I just went to Hawaii, and every morning we prayed and we meditated and we visioned, and we created a women's workshop for January. It's called New Moon, New Intentions, New Year, New Moon, New Intentions, all right? So we will be talking about your moon sign and your sun sign and how you can direct that in an affirmative way through the power of love and law. And it will be the embodiment of song and dance and a release ceremony and a pilgrimage. So if you want to sign up and talk to her more about that, she will be at the Seaside Sister table. And we have the 1 Billion Rising. Any Seaside Sisters here? Woo! Okay, so last year, if you remember, we did the flash mob of the 1 Billion Rising. We had like 50 women. This year we're going to have 100 women, and we're going out into the world. We're going to be dancing at the Women's March, and we're also going to be dancing at Balboa Park in February. So if you did not dance last year and you want to dance this year, sign up because rehearsal starts on the 8th of December. Also, we have the coat. Bring extra coats and hoodies and ask your friends if they have an extra. This is for the Holiday Resource Center Drive. One more thing, I'm going to invite the practitioners to come forward because this is the Wall of Prayer Sunday. So as we have them come forward, we hold that high consciousness, I invite everyone here to close your eyes and to go within so I may know the truth about you and your life and all the goodness that is expressed in itself. For I know there's only one life, and that life is God. That life is divine. That life is beautiful. That life is infinite intelligence, seeking expression through all and as all and by all, always expressing the diversity of life in so many beautiful ways and forms. And I know that I am one with this life of God. All that God is, I am. I am perfect, and I am whole, and I am complete. It's a perfect God, a perfect man, a perfect being. I am the expression of the divine in action. As I walk with the divine daily in my life, I always see you through the eyes of the divine. And as I know this is my truth, I know this is the truth for each and every individual here in this room. Each person walking hand in hand with spirit. Each person listening to that soul, listening to the body, the mind, directing the mind in an affirmative way, and just growing authentically in the nature of God as your life. For you are a gift to the world. As you continue to unfold this and express this out in the world, the more the world becomes a better place to live. And I am just grateful for this truth, this perfection, this divine knowing as your life and my life and in the life of Seaside Centers for Spiritual Living, as I release my word into the law, knowing that it is good, it is perfect, and it is done. And so it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. So I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on, Seaside, sing it from your heart. Beautiful. So no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yeah. Yeah, Seaside.
Yes. Rebecca Zaccardo, raise your hand. If you want to dance, see Rebecca at the Seaside Sister Table. Everyone together. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. One more time. Perfect God, perfect man, perfect being. And so it is.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe, through joys and through fears. In this world I walk, God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We're living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor as together we walk. God's grace moves through me, and He moves through us all. We are living in grace. 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 Come up and get some prayer, everybody.